That's fatal.
2 months ago, I made a community post on YouTube that said, what's something from a previous wrestling game that you want to see make a return in WWE 2K24? Tell me what it is and what game it's from. I'm going to compile a list for a future video. And I totally did not forget about this community post.
So that was a f***ing lie.
So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about all 22 answers that I got from this post. Let's see what you all want to see in WWE 2K24. The first comment is from How We Survive 767. And they say they want custom soundtracks from SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 all the way to 2K14. It was great being able to customize entrance themes without having to use Spotify or something. Now, for those who haven't played the older games, what How We Survive means by this is, from what I remember, on the PS3 games, you were able to have songs saved on your PS3, and then when you went to go create an entrance or change the song of a superstar, you could literally use the hard drive of your PS3 to click any song that you have saved, and that song would then be used in the game. And as long as that song stayed on your PS3, it would stay in the game as that entrance theme song. The moment you deleted the song just wouldn't work in game and you would have to swap it. But it was so cool being able to just pick whatever song you wanted as your entrance theme song. I remember for all my creator wrestlers, I would choose my favorite rap song at the time as my entrance theme song. Also, it was great for updating out-of-date superstars if they got a new entrance theme song. Then you just put that theme song on your PS3 and then you just upload it to the wrestling game. Nowadays with the modern wrestling games, because Spotify is now on our consoles, most players, what they do is that they mute the audio in the game and then they just open up the Spotify app, click on the song, and they try and time it exactly when the wrestler's coming out. It's very tedious because you have to time it perfectly with the entrance and you have to click it manually. But players have been getting creative and trying to figure out ways to do custom soundtracks. I just don't see it returning. I see them sticking with their old ways and just not allowing custom soundtracks at all. But it really wouldn't affect anyone because it's us, the players, that are going to be uploading our own custom soundtracks. All 2K has to do is just give us the option to search our hard drives for any saved songs. That's pretty much it. Next up, from Harv Addy, they say create a finisher. I'd love to see create a finisher return to the series. I think it would be an awesome feature again and potentially help with moves that aren't normally in the game for wrestler movesets. And they should allow the custom finisher to be used as a normal move too, to create more unique type movesets. I can't remember its first appearance, but from my memory, I've seen it between SmackDown vs. Raw 2010 and WWE 2K 2014. I also can't remember what game it originated from, but I do have a fond memory of just making those hilarious finishers where it's it's one kick constantly to the sternum, and then it just goes into some insane powerbomb, backflip DDT. I remember making some insane moves, and whenever the moves were hit, the other superstar, the AI, was just in the red immediately, and it was just so overpowered. The problem with creative finisher in modern games is that modern games now have a pretty alive online service, and most players love to use the overall 99 or overall 100 create a wrestler in online that already have spammy moves to begin with from what the game gives us. Now imagine if these same players with the overall 100 cause now had the ability to make a super overpowered spammy finisher. That's where you're probably getting to the territory of it just not being fun anymore to play online. Create a finisher is a create mode that I definitely seen being passed around online a lot, so I could see them putting it in 2K24. Bark at Ali says 30 years of WrestleMania from WWE 2K14. I would love for 30 years of WrestleMania to return from WWE 2K14. Maybe switch up the matches that we've seen within those 30 years, so it's not a bunch of repeats, but also use some matches that they used in 2K14. There's a reason why WWE 2K14 had such a massive roster, and 30 years of WrestleMania is a big factor for that. Kayvon Harris says, a road to WrestleMania from the SmackDown vs. Raw days. We could have a Cody, Seth, and Jay for the storylines. So Kayvon Harris wants a road to WrestleMania from the SmackDown vs. Raw days where you pretty much pick a superstar that's already on the roster and then you go through a bunch of different Raws and SmackDowns, PLEs, the draft, all the way leading up to WrestleMania, where Road to WrestleMania eventually ends after you win the title. Back in the SmackDown vs. Raw days, Here Come the Pain, Shut Your Mouth. These Road to WrestleManias or career modes were always super fun. Like I said, I recently played Here Comes the Pain, so my memory is pretty fresh with how Road to WrestleMania or career mode was. They had silly storylines, backstage segments, fun matches. You pretty much had creativity to do what you wanted as that superstar. I think I played mine as Goldberg, so I was able to do whatever I wanted as Goldberg. Now we do have My Rise, which is pretty much a Road to WrestleMania, but with your creative wrestler. If My Rise allowed us to pick any superstar from the roster, then I'm pretty sure it would feel more like a Road to WrestleMania because we're playing as that superstar. In WWE 2K23, you could do a glitch where you were able to play as any superstar you wanted, but it felt weird because the commentators would act like they didn't know who that superstar was. So if you use like The Rock, for example, they're not going to know who The Rock is, and they're going to treat The Rock as like some indie superstar. So it definitely broke My Rise when it came to like believability. But if 2K allowed us to actually pick any WWE superstar we wanted, and then the commentators would react accordingly, that'd be amazing. Or they can just give us a simplified Road to WrestleMania mode, as well as also still have My Rise in there. SoonerFan109 says, create a storyline from one of the early 2K games. I'm not sure exactly which one. I believe it started in SmackDown vs. Raw 2010, and the last time we saw it was 2K14. Create a storyline is actually one of my biggest requests for something I want to see return in the modern wrestling games. I would love for WWE 2K24 to have create a storyline. It's going to extend the longevity of the game's life, as long as 2K keeps the servers up for a longer time, you know what I mean? And there's just going to be so much replayability if there was a creative storyline. Because just imagine all the silly, serious, fun, creative stories that you can play, see which ones are the most popular, and then you just have endless fun and endless stories to go through. So create a storyline in 2K24? Yes, please. It's my main request. I would love to see that. Tropical Viking says the camera angle from Here Comes the Pain, or at least the option to choose between that and a TV hard cam. And it's funny you mentioned Here Comes the Pain camera angles because Marty M, used the hashtag Marty M on the communications, actually has some Here Comes the Pain hard cam arenas that have that fixed camera you're looking for. So just search up Marty M under arenas as well as shows. You just alternate between them. I believe if you use the hashtag hard cam as well under arenas, you will also find the Here Comes the Pain hard cam arenas. So Tropical Viking, if you're watching this video, go ahead and check that out. Terminator 201 says Road to WrestleMania mode, special guest referee matches, Inferno matches, Buried Alive matches, story mode, 40-man Royal Rumble, the old Hell in a Cell with more freedom at ringside, and in general, weapon physics from SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. Road to WrestleMania mode, we already talked about that. I would love to see it return. Special guest referee match. I definitely see this returning in WWE 2K24, especially because recently in WWE, we've been having special guest referee matches. So I don't see why they wouldn't return this match because recently we've been seeing it anyways. Next up, Inferno matches. Unfortunately, I don't think 2K is going to bring that match back because they just don't use it anymore in the product. Same with Buried Alive match. If I'm being honest, I think 2K is just going to be a little too lazy to even code a Buried Alive match. Buried Alive matches is one of the most fun matches to play in a wrestling game. It's very unique, being able to beat your opponent up, get them to the grave, throw them in, play like a little mini game so that they stay in the grave, and then watching a cutscene of the grave being filled up with dirt was so much fun to do in the wrestling games. So I really do hope they bring Buried Alive match back, but I feel like it's just a matter of like laziness when it comes to coding it for a modern game that they don't want to do. Story mode from SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, I think you mean where you're able to run around backstage. I wouldn't mind if they brought that back as long as they reworked it because it got very boring fast. If they found out a way for us to do more stuff backstage, maybe some side quests here and there with superstars backstage, that would be a lot of fun. An example I could see is like you meet up with Alpha Academy backstage. They're having a match soon, so they ask you for help to come out there and help them win. And now you can then decide if you want to go out there and help them win, go out there and do nothing, or go out there and help them lose. And depending on your decision, you would have repercussions later on. So I would love if they did something like that. You know, a WWE game with a little bit of like RPG elements in it. I think that'd be a lot of fun. 40-man Royal Rumbles, yeah, like bring that back. You know, we have the greatest Royal Rumble, so just let us do 40-man Royal Rumbles. The old Hell in a Cell match where you have more freedom ringside, I definitely miss that. There's countless times where I do AI versus AI matches, and whenever the AI leave the ring, they just do that same thing where they do the same move ringside because you only do like 2 moves. They end up tripping over the staircase. Whenever they get thrown towards the staircase, they trip over it. It just gets very repetitive, and I want to see like more freedom so you can do any move you want ringside. And the weapon physics from SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. Yes, I loved watching the pieces of the table just going flying everywhere. You know, the pieces staying in the ring still. Yeah, I definitely would love the weapon physics from SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 to return. Josh says being able to create our own body morphs from 2K16 to 2K20. I don't really remember these body morphs, create your own body morph thing. I rarely touched Create a Superstar, so I don't really know what create a body morph is. If I had to make a guess, is you could make a morph, save it as a preset, and then you could use that morph for future superstars. I'm not too sure what he means by this, so I'm not going to go too into it, but let me know in the comment section down below, what does create a body morph mean? And honestly, it sounds pretty cool, so I hope we do get to see it return in future WWE 2K games, because more options to create a superstar is definitely welcomed. I am SXZ says being able to walk on the announce table. Very simple feature, just being able to walk around the announce table again. The issue with this is back in the old games, the announce table was, I think, a lot bigger, so it gave you room to sort of walk around. The announce tables in current games are more to scale, so there isn't really a lot of walking around you can do, but they could just allow us to have like freedom of movement. So if we want to move like left and right, up and down a little bit, we can, as long as we're balancing on the announce table. This way, if like you want to hit a quick RKO with the other person on top of the announce table, as long as it lands near the announce table or on the announce table, it'll break it. Defeat the streak mode from 2K14, only this time it should be beat the tribal chief. Odd Gaming, this right here is a great idea and something that I actually said multiple times myself. Obviously, it can't be defeat the streak anymore because Undertaker has been defeated. But if they do one with the tribal chief, now granted the tribal chief has already been pinned, but he has not lost his title. So if we could have an undisputed champion, Roman Reigns, that has like advanced AI and a harder difficulty compared to like regular AI in the game, and you had to defeat him at WrestleMania to win the championships, and I would love to try and beat him as every superstar in the game. That'd be a huge challenge, but I definitely would try it. So I will love to see Defeat the Streak make its return to a future wrestling game or even WWE 2K24 as Defeat the Tribal Chief. Barkat also wants fulfill your fantasy from SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. Bro, you want a match where you have to play as two divas, okay, that aren't even a thing anymore. So two women wrestlers that are wearing like maid outfits with pillows everywhere, and you have to beat the other female with the pillow to fulfill your fantasy meter. You can also rip off their tops. You can also rip off their pants. You really want this match in the game? Bro. Hello? Put it in. Sly Cooper TV 5055 says, I want an Alexa Bliss showcase mode or Undertaker showcase mode. I'm not going to mention Edge because this was 2 months ago, so Edge wasn't at AW at the time, but now he is. So an Alexa Bliss showcase mode or Undertaker showcase mode. Okay, Alexa Bliss showcase mode, as much as that would be cool, I just don't see them probably ever doing that. Undertaker showcase mode, I think you nailed it on the head there. I definitely see it being an Undertaker or a Randy Orton showcase mode. So you might get one of your options. ETN Vordsman says, well, let's just be honest. I just want one patch that fixes the whole game like 2K19, not 20 patches like 2K23, and a server that's still out of working condition and some seriously improvement on weapons. And I just want one big patch to fix all of it, not 20 plasters to fix the game. Okay, so I think what they're trying to say is they just want one big patch, let everything get fixed, don't have a patch that fixes something, and then there's 20 broken things. So he doesn't want these constant patches. Unfortunately, ETN, we're probably going to see a bunch of patches. The 2K games nowadays are just known to have countless patches and bugs. And unless they take like another year off to really work on the bugs, we're still going to see countless patches in our 2K games. Also, with the DLC packs being like panned out, 2K uses that opportunity and that downtime to try and find bugs to then fix when it comes to the next DLC pack. And then whenever we're waiting for the next DLC pack, they use that same downtime to find more bugs, to see what else needs to be fixed, and etc. It becomes a problem when all the DLC packs are out and there's still prominent bugs in the game. That's when it becomes a problem because at that point 2K is done with patches and they're not fixing anything else. So if there's still a bug in your game and all the DLC is out, you're stuck with it until the next 2K game comes out. That's what I don't like about it. I think that there should be like a small team that is still working on fixing big bugs all the way leading until the next game comes out. This way, for players who are playing the older game still and are sticking with the older game, their game is all fixed up even when the new game comes out. And finally, from Muhammad Azrul, he said, I just want the Fiend. Well, Muhammad, I feel like we are going to see the Fiend in 2K24 as well as all of Bray Wyatt's gimmicks because I feel like they're going to pay a tribute to Bray Wyatt with all his gimmicks in maybe some sort of deluxe edition, or just gonna put him in the roster with all his gimmicks in general, right? Either one, I think we're gonna get either him on the cover of a deluxe edition to pay tribute, or all his gimmicks in the game to pay tribute. I feel like they're gonna do something like that, just so we have the many faces of Bray Wyatt to play as. Thank you everyone for leaving a suggestion on what you want to see in WWE 2K24. Go ahead and leave more suggestions in the comment section down below. I would love to read about it. Give the video a like, subscribe to Kitchens On, and I'll catch you next video. Fiddle Steven out. Peace.